that's what it said on the email.
Oh, that's true. My email name is
no.
it's Lee. Yeah.
It's not that I've been talking to your mom or anything.
Just
I
to
didn't
be
even
clear.
think of that.
So is this claymation?
I think that's like a copyrighted term. I would call it stop motion.
Stop motion
with plasticine.
How long did it take you to make this?
This one took me longer than it should have. I think it took maybe almost like 5 months. There's a lot of frames, like 2,000 something frames.
And that leads to my next question: how many frames per second?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Well, usually you'd have like, I don't know, 24 or something, but this, I just cheated and I made it like 15. And then a lot of times I'm doing like double, I'm like doubling the frame. There's a term for it, doubling the frames, or like, it's like I'll take one frame and then it'll just copy it. Yeah, and then it makes like a different sort of motion that's like, you know, more like or whatever.
Oh, wow. So the fact that it took that long, was it like discouraging, or were you going to do more?
No, it wasn't. It was fine, and I just did other things, and that's okay. But now, I did another one that I haven't shown you. That's really cool.
Next month.
Yeah.
Yay!
And that one like was way quicker to do. So.
Oh, because that's your happy place. When you do it, you're transported into this different place, right?
Yeah, it's true.
She said no.
What's the music? Where did it come from? What was the inspiration?
Yeah, the music will. I feel like it's not too hard to hear. Like, if you remember that SpongeBob episode where he like ripped his pants.
Yes.
It's very much that. Yeah, and I just kind of did that with, you know, instruments.
And you made the music.
You did the music?
Yes, this is true. I admit it.
I think everyone should try their hand at doing stop motion.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say music.
Music, music too, yeah, but stop motion, it really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was Will Vinton one of your inspirations?
Who is this?
Okay, never mind.
So I guess
I think he's the one that copyrighted the term claymation.
Oh, okay. I thought it would have been Art Clokey or someone.
Interesting. Stop motion. Yes, Stephanie.
So now that you've done this, are you interested in live film, not clay?
Well, yeah, live. I mean, live film is great, but I'm so bossy, you see.
Have you met Stephanie?
You'll get to know people and they're wonderful community people. You're in this is a cult you can never leave.
Okay.
All right, yes. Natalie.
I actually have 2 questions. Am I allowed? 2 questions, yeah. What is the equipment, like what kind of camera did you use? And my second question would be, what section of the film you made did you find it the most difficult, to get through?
Yeah, okay, so I used a Nikon Coolpix 880, like really a kind of an old cheap camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the most difficult part was probably just the very first scene, and I got rid of that. Like the I don't know, first few things that I did, it was just junk, and I got rid of it quickly once I realized that it was junk. But you have to do it and then do other stuff. You have to do something, and then you do something else, and you go, oh, that other thing is pretty bad. But now I've gotten started, so it's gonna be good now.
Like sex.
That's amazing.
The river is life, and the river is the best teacher, and all those complicated lessons that you need to learn in life's journey, the river has taught me, and I want to share those lessons with you, the audience.
Amazing.
What do we learn from the river? And you asked me crazy questions about what I thought about the river being given the right to the person in a person.
Are you ever afraid that you're gonna like drop your camera or your phone?
Yes, all the time. That's just a risk you gotta take. I mean, it's an expensive camera, it's a camera phone, but you gotta risk it for the biscuit. If you want those shots, you gotta do it, right?
I think risk it for the biscuit means something different. So, do you put stuff like your wallet and stuff in like a Ziploc bag? Yeah. I used to, back in high school, there was this guy who used to we used to go drinking, and he used to put his wallet and his keys in a Ziploc bag. And I'm like, why? It's like, by the end of the night, I'm going to end up in the Ottawa River. And he did. I don't talk to that guy. I don't think he's doing well. Anyways.
Tamworth Central Film Studios is launching next month, June 7th. We're having our first open house / party. And we're inviting all of you, all of the Ottawa filmmakers and the community and the Quebec filmmakers,
Yay!
of course, to come see the show, see the space, and introduce ourselves and see what we got going on.
There's gonna be music.
Yes, there's gonna be live music, and we just ordered a hot tub.
Hot tub.
Oh, nice.
It's gonna be a real party.
Woo-hoo!
Oh,
It's
yeah,
gonna
we
be
have
cool and awkward.
local musicians. We have a catering menu that we're going to showcase. So basically what we're doing is a film residency kind of studio. So we have accommodations. We've turned our house into almost like hostel accommodations with like accommodate up to 6 people. And then we have a catering menu where we can self-cater. And then we have an entire studio space to build sets and film locations within Tamworth. We're slowly getting everyone in town on board with filming to turn the entire town into a movie set.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Wow.
Please come see us.
Wow.
Come hang out.
Also, it's the law that governs. This is the base law that governs the human beings' relationships with all creation.
Started with a RV tour. A couple of Toronto Film School students came to me and they were like, we want to do a road trip, and the Magpie River just became a person. So we have to go to the river and ask the river what it means to be a person. And maybe we'll figure out along the way as like a kind of coming of age road trip story. And 7 of us took that RV up to the Magpie and filmed the whole way up. And that was the inception of the Rivers of Life kind of series. And now we're doing the follow-up, which is the Rivers of Life, our local river. And it's going to expand to every river across Canada and the States.
The world.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. There's something very nurturing about being close to the river. Like, animals are drawn to it for many reasons, but I feel this weird affinity. So I cycle all the time and do my best writing and reading by the Ottawa River. I need to be by this body of water. I don't know why. It's just, it calls out to me. It soothes me.
But the river is a different perspective. When you're sitting on the river, when you're floating down it, you are moving with time. You are headed in a direction, and what is it? You're taking everything in from a very neutral point of view. When you're like floating, you're neutrally buoyant. It's almost like flying. There's a little bit of levity to it. But my mom was a river guide as well, and she actually met my dad in the Grand Canyon on a river. So the river brings people together. The river is a place of bonding. It's also been the super highway for many cultures all throughout history. So the river is very important.
Back to the river, and I mean any body of water too, because I spent so much time on many rivers in Ontario.
We are continuing to film it, so we're doing the spring runoff, which is the whitewater section. So it's really a kind of year-long progression.
Amazing.
As the river, a metaphor of time and aging and all
You're
that
a poet.
kind of stuff.
Wow, absolutely. I love
Gorgeous.
I'm just interpreting the river.
No, but absolutely. You're a poet. Yeah.
The fact that you've been a guide, has there ever been a time that you feared the river?
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a time you're always kind of have that little bit of fear in your stomach when you're about to set off on a rapid, and you try never to panic. And there's a fine line between fear, respect, and panicking when that you have to kind of maintain when you're especially with a group of people who don't know what they're doing. You have to control their panic. But yeah, there's definitely close like drowning moments where you're like, oh my God, I think this is it, I'm gonna die. But the fear comes from not being humble. If you're humble and go at it calmly, that's fine. The moment you think you're bigger than the river, that's when the river takes you and smacks you around and puts the fear back into you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very humbling. I remember I was on the ocean once on a sail ship and there was a storm, and I remember feeling so small and so in awe of everything all at once. It's just like, wow.
Thanks.
So you're French.
Yeah, French Canadian. I'm from Sudbury.
We're French.
Oh, that's my town.
Franco-Italien.
Sturgeon Falls.
I know. So what was this location? Where was this?
So it's my mom's house basically, because it's just in between renos right now. So with the theme of missing and everything, it's like the perfect location.
That's perfect because location adds as character very well in this one with the floor and everything.
Yeah.
I got a question about the sound. So he was masked for a while. How did you get his voice clear?
So I used the Rode Gen 3s, wireless goes, lavalier underneath. So yeah, we were both mic'd up on both, and then it was just...
Wow. This is not your first film?
No, so I've done a couple other things outside of like Kino. Like last year, I did a film for like the Ottawa Youth Film Festival, and then won in that category. But then outside of that, like I've been doing just little things here and there. I graduated from that state a couple of years ago, and just been slowly building my portfolio and getting out there and doing things.
Well, thank you. Welcome to Kino. Thanks for participating.
Thank you.
What inspired this story?
So my partner, Marie-Lie, who wrote it, also wrote a novel when she was like in high school or whatever, and we thought this was a perfect opportunity to retell a section of that story in a different art form, which film. So we just took a scene, like a chapter from her book, and then used it to create the short film.
Wow.
Where can we get the book?
So it's still a work in progress.
Okay.
Like she did her first draft, and then we're working on it. And I've been pushing her to get it out there.
But she's here tonight, right?
Yeah, she's over there being shy in the corner.
Okay, one question. What was the hardest part of doing this one?
The hardest part is actually the end section isn't the way we wanted to shoot it, but because the house has just kind of been sitting there, the windows weren't really clear. So originally I just wanted an outside shot. You see the person approaching to go for the hits, and then you would cut outwards or cut to black, and that would have been the end. So we were kind of figuring it out as we go. Also, there's currently no power, so I had to buy an external battery to plug a light in and stuff.
지직침에 laisse-moi partir.
Je fais ça pour te protéger.
The premise of the story is obviously the person who kidnapped her knows her. The fact that he's in disguise is hiding his identity from her in the meantime until he feels safe to be able to share his identity with her. So there's just that little component of...
Yeah, it does sound like a bigger story. There's much more going on there. Interesting. How was it working with animals and pets?
I know this dog, so I know what she's going to do.
Exploring a new park is great for mental stimulation and a whole lot of fun.
There was one tiny clip where I just remember walking in, kind of oh, the sun's sort of shining through the trees. It's hitting that little pathway. She had already run up over that little crest. And I was like, I bet if I call her, she'll stop right at the top of there. And it just happened to be lit really nicely, and she just did that. And I was like, yeah, cool. So it's a lot of it is hoping, you know, and a lot of it is also just oh, this would be a really cool shot, and then having my dog run right into the camera, being like, that was a great shot. My lens is messed, but that was a really great shot.
But it does take a lot of patience.
Yes.
A lot of retries.
It can. Okay, so the first half, much more documentary style, right, where I'm doing stuff and I just set up the camera and my dog will walk out of the shot, and 20 minutes later I'll be like, oh, I should probably turn it off. The other half was a lot more directing, where I was trying to get her to lick my arm, and I'm like, you do this every morning, and yet the camera's rolling and you're not, and you're like, I'm licking you.
These are memories too, right?
Yeah.
People have photo albums, you have video albums.
Yeah, I mean that's always been my sort of thing, being a camera guy and making videos. The sort of story behind this channel was I'm very project oriented. I don't know if anyone else creatively they want to learn something, so they're I need to come up with an idea behind it to sort of throw myself in. And so I had these cameras. I never really was using them. I had a dog, and I was like, oh, I should do a dog channel. And then years go by, and that dog unfortunately passed away. And I never really committed to doing those videos. But when I told the breeder that she had passed away, and that if any of her descendants, because she had gone through the breeding program, needed a home, I'd love to open my home to them. And she was like, well, her granddaughter is about to have a litter. And if you want, this was like the very beginnings of COVID, so everyone was getting a puppy. And they jumped me up like 170 people and gave me one of the puppies. And that was, it took a little time to think about it, and I was like, okay, do I want to have another dog? And from a puppy, I haven't had that experience, but I thought of the channel, I thought of the name Queens, which is a derivative of my first dog's nickname, Weens, short for Wiener. She was a bit of a dick. True story. And so when I thought of Queens, and I thought growing up Queens, I was like, okay, this whole thing feels pretty good. And then I was able to sort of just do this and yeah, just sort of tell the whole story, you know, from adoption to the breeding program, which will be in a couple of years. But,
so this is the beginning of something bigger. Like a series.
This is
like
the second. This is the second chapter. The first chapter, which we flash back to in the video, a couple little segments. That was like just adoption and us getting to know each other and our life together. Now we've moved into a new place and we sort of go into we go on a road trip to Vancouver Island, which I'm almost finished editing, and then we do a cross-country road trip to here, Ottawa, and sort of our life in Ottawa.
I noticed your tattoo.
Yes, indeed. This is my first dog. So I'll get my new dog's paw print at some point somewhere else. Yeah.
How was it filming yourself?
That's a good question considering.
Oh, I fucking hate it. I'm done with
considering
I'm filming emo films with other people.
That was awesome.
It was.
I mean, honestly, it's just me doing nothing. Like I'm not. When I have to vlog, I've done a couple of vlogs and I have to talk about it. I'm trying to like be cheery and like a certain style, you know, like it's a very sort of family-friendly sort of show, and so I try to keep it light and goofy and not to not to my typical darker self, the stuff that I like to create. My main creative sort of focus from the outset was to sort of pull a bit of a Steven Spielberg and keep the camera low, like E.T. And so it's always from her perspective, right? So most people, like, you only really see their legs, and even me, there's only a few times. It's really sort of from her level as much as possible, just so that we sort of get to experience it through her. The intro is a little bit longer. I'm going to cut it down for the actual YouTube video, but yeah, I wanted sort of people to sort of feel her anxiety as like, oh, I don't really know, because I feel like that's a side of that pet people don't really understand about their pets. Is like, you know, like if you were dragged from one thing to another and you didn't really know what was going on, and you're put into a pen and then you're left there all night, like you'd probably be like, what is happening? Like, what, you know, my life has been flipped upside down.
How much is it going to cost me?
You know, and so a dog would then, you know, whine and cry and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, people's reactions sometimes is not like, oh, why is this dog upset? And it's like, wouldn't you be?
What's the channel?
The channel is Growing Up Queens. It's on YouTube. Queens, QWEENS.
Cereal and a little something for Queens.
Yeah, part of the whole showing this here was we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and it's kind of like part of the beauty of YouTube is I started this thing 2 years ago and ran out of gas about 500 subscribers in. Was like, well, I'll come back to that when I can. And 2 years later, all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're at 800. Oh, I should probably look into doing some more of this. Give it a little more fuel to the embers and see if we can push it over. I mean, this is a hobby. This is, as I said, a project for me to get better at using the gear that I had, and to help, you know, tell better stories and stuff like that, and to be able to just keep practicing and sharpening the skills.
So good.
And have a project, you know, get to this point where I'm like, oh, if I just push it over, maybe I can start making money off of it. That would be great.
You never know. You never know. Dan, would you? Michael Knight, writer. Would you like to come on stage?
Champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless.
Why was that funny? You had to pose with like an. Did you obsessively rewatch the opening?
It was edited over top of the opening. Oh. So that was my recreation well, shot for shot of the original Knight
We should
Rider, so.
recreate openings to 80s sitcoms. That would be great.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. That could be a theme.
That's a theme.
I did
yes.
once. Remember that one?
Oh my god, what have I started?
So you watched Knight Rider when you were younger?
Oh god, yes. Oh yeah. I have a couple of kit models at home. The one you open the door and a little light goes back and forth on the hood. And oh yeah, I was a big nerd when I was a kid, and still am.
Does your car go that fast?
God no.
Do you have a license for that banana?
Of criminals who operate above the law.
So why the banana not like a prop gun?
I didn't have access to a prop gun.
Oh,
yeah.
And my girlfriend was like, how about a banana? I'm like, that's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's fun.
Any other opening? Oh god.
What would you make? What would it be? What would it be?
Oh, another opening.
Baywatch.
Baywatch.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Another David Hasselhoff
Yeah,
joint. Yeah, no, this was just, I would be driving my car home from work and stuff like that, and incidentally, on the shuffle of my Spotify, the Knight Rider theme would come on, and while I'm driving, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool feeling.
Good. Then you see an 18-wheeler, and you're like, let's open that.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah, open up, man. I'll be in.
No.
Yeah. So it was just, I don't know. It just kept coming into my mind.
Those
It
are all
was
received.
funny to do with a Honda Civic.
You know what? I hear there's people in here that don't know the show. Like they were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it.
Have you ever thought about crossing like different intros of different shows? Like I don't know why, but I had this like a mashup. I had this idea of like Littlest Hobo like running after the car at the end. Yeah. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Kid meets the Littlest Hobo. That'd be an awesome team up. I always thought $6 Million Man and Knight Rider would be an awesome crossover. So. Yeah.
I love
Lots of ideas, fun.
Littlest Hobo, I don't know if you remember that. A German Shepherd goes from town to town in Ontario and changes people's lives. He fixes things.
It was my favorite
keeps moving
show.
on.
It was my favorite show.
I am from Butchiko in the Northwest Territories, and I'm Dene from the Quincho region. And when I saw the theme for Kino this month when it was missing, Jay asked me to work on this film with him, Raising a Warrior. And on May 5th, it's Red Dress Day, and it's to raise awareness for murdering the missing Indigenous women. So I thought with the theme and the date so close, I thought it would be a good time to replay the film.
Peut-être que je peux me faire changer d'idée.
How was it playing this character?
Wasn't really hard.
But you enjoyed it, playing a villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of did. No, but I mean, it was. I like playing bad guys or like sleazy guys because it's fun to play as far away as possible from myself.
So you claim, yeah.
So I claim, yes, in fact. And it's fun to usually like try and think of way because that person doesn't see themselves as the bad guy. So it's fun to kind of try to figure out how you can see something that you think is very bad and think of it as a good thing. I don't know if it makes sense,
Yeah,
but
makes
like
sense.
trying to put yourself in that.
And he didn't hit him. He was just trying to survive.
Le problème, c'est que c'est votre mot contre celui d'un policier respecté. Aucun jury va vous croire.
Switching between French and English.
Good question.
Thank you. So and it's the same reason why there wasn't any subtitles on the French parts, because I wanted everybody who's watching the film is in English, and I wanted the English viewers to feel like the indigenous characters in a other world where they don't understand half of what is being said, because the systems aren't the systems that we have had for thousands and thousands of years. Everything is different, the language is different.
The young man made of mist stood before Manikinet. His clothes looked like those of our ancestors had worn, made of hand-painted caribou hides. Just keep your eyes on me. Just imagine moose and deer, and places me and Hama will show you one day.
So there's two aspects of it. The one, I need to find a way to make all of this work in one single location, which is my old apartment, because I don't want to find a different place to film, and don't have time because we filmed all of this in one day. So there's that, but then the better, more artistic version of it was also I wanted it to be about not the violence that's happening, not the anything outside of that family happening. It's the same reason why it's called Raising a Warrior, because I wanted it to be focused on two parents who love each other and are trying their best to raise their kids, but are being put against the world and systemic racism and all the injustice in the world, trying to still love each other while they are being torn away from each other, still trying to raise their kids while they're being put into situations that they can't get into. And I wanted to show all of that, and I thought the best way to do that was to show it from the eyes of the child, to kind of, because it is all about that child, right? Everything they're doing, the reason they go back into, the reason she sells herself is because, you know, she needs money to raise that child, because otherwise that child will grow into poverty. They won't be able to pay their apartment, will have to go in the streets, will have a way harsher life, and so sacrificing herself for the sake of that child. So this is, all of that is why essentially it's from the eyes of that child, plus it looks pretty cool in my opinion. So it's awesome.
What does the phone ringing signify?
Well, it doesn't really signify anything. So often when you have a movie, you have all these plot developments that lead to things. So I've said, forget the plot developments, let's just have the cool parts. Like, we don't need to understand why the woman is looking at the phone. We don't need to understand why there's a monster. We don't need to understand why anything's happening. Let's just show what's happening.
Let me tell you my interpretation.
I want to see if it matches my interpretation.
No, okay. Well, yeah, I still have nightmares. I don't know why. Nightmares are very post-traumatic. There's a phone ringing, I'm answering it, and I feel powerless because I'm at the other end of the phone. So there's a lot of issues to unpack with Vincent Valentino. But there's a panic, there's an urgency, there's something that makes me feel powerless about a phone, and I keep having these recurring dreams where it's like, I'm like, and I'm like, so that resonated with me. Was there some sort of unconscious layer inside you that said, the phone is a disconnect from humanity?
Well, that's really interesting, because when the phone rings, you never know, like especially a phone like that, there's no screen display. So you don't know who's calling. So if you don't know who's calling, anyone could be calling, you know, and that opens up a whole world of imagination.
And you made it like a horror theme. When you had like movement, you had like Dutch angles and stuff like that. That was kind of fun. You kind of pushed into the phone. So you did more movement than your usual films, right?
Yeah, that's right, because these cameras, you can hold them in your hand, and who's got time to set up tripods and all that kind of stuff, you know? So it's a lot cooler to have the camera in your hand and just kind of wiggle around with it.
My interpretation of that was Death Was Calling.
Wow, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what it was then.
There we go. Hey.
I noticed that you had images superimposed. You know, you had the phone and you had Kevin. And how did you pull that off? Was that in editing, or was that actually like you filmed over the film twice?
No, I filmed over the film twice. So with a 16mm camera, the one I had, you can rewind the film and shoot over it and just hope that it turns out. And half of it turns out and half of it doesn't.
Half her face was completely in shadow, and then in the happier moments it's completely lit up. Was that, I guess, a design choice?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that, but
I guess
I'm going to say I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, of course.
Because that sounds so thoughtful. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sorry to bring back childhood trauma. I love the voice.
What? My voice?
No, the voice in the film. I love the voice you were doing.
Oh, yeah, that's my like
I don't know.
serious voice, I guess.
That's why I'm taking you to meet my mentor, the Falcon.
Doesn't he hold the record for most dives in a single match?
Where did you film this? I know the location.
The very top of Carlington Ski Hill.
On
It
Carling,
is, there's technically a ski hill, Not so much anymore, but
People go tobogganing.
we go tobogganing.
It's really fun.
And it's very dangerous if you go all the way from the top on a toboggan.
Yeah, I used to build the ramps at the bottom and see the children like break their bones going off it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could film slow motion with the GoPros until.
Oh yeah. Oh no, GoPros and some drones and stuff.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I got an idea. Next winter.
You push until you make them believe you. I just shut myself. Aye, that happens when you push.
Is the fart real?
No. Maybe. No. There's a lot. There was a few sound effects that I acquired. Basically, at the very end, it was just like a fart every couple seconds. And I was just like, I'm just gonna leave this.
I'm just gonna leave this.
If he drops to the ground and clutches his knee.
This was inspired by something. Something, right?
Yeah. As a so I write comedies. What I like to do is find something that pisses you off and embellish the hell out of it in one way or another. And I've always hated soccer diving so much. I was just like, this is such a perfect topic that I can just go into, you know.
I thought you were gonna say children.
No, okay, what?
What was the location?
You're standing on it. This is where I filmed it, yeah. Turned all the lights off and only used the studio lights that we brought in.
But is it all lies? Is this what I deserve?
So why black and white?
I don't know. I really don't have a reason why I chose black and white.
Because sometimes color distracts.
I guess it has it has kind of a melancholic feel to it. You know, if too much color can be too bright, too happy. Black and white, you know, you're going into kind of emo territory.
Yeah. How was it, you and other characters here playing the villain, like the abuser?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, I found it so much fun.
But
there was one person, I don't know if they're willing to expose himself, but he wasn't very fond of the idea of playing a villain. But, you know, I told him, hey, it's just acting, man. You know, no one's going to actually believe you're that guy, you know?
So what inspired the story? I feel like I'm being interviewed. Thank you.
Actually, what inspired the story was a friend of mine that went through a similar situation, I believe. She's still going through it.
No.
She hasn't broken the cycle yet. So, but the character in the film, it's made up. She's not real. Abigail Hannigan, she's not real. But she's going to be part of a series that I'm working on creating.
So why dance?
Dahlia is really good at expressing herself. So.
Yeah, sometimes when you have no voice, you find other ways to express yourself. It's wonderful. And you film?
Yeah.
You were filming this. Oh, hey, I'll give you the microphone. Put you on the spot here. No, you've been on stage many times. You filmed a lot of films. What do you film with?
Nikon D7200.
Oh, wow. So you accompany him and you help him with his films, and you're the principal writer of the films and stuff like that. Is there ever going to be a film where you write? Or
I don't know. Well, I did film some stuff, and I need to do. I remember I filmed some stuff.
what I'd like to see is you write it, you direct, you act, and he films it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to trust him on my camera.
You gotta have experience behind the camera. What?
I'm not the best with cameras.
Oh, no.
I can't figure out how to turn it on.
I feel like I created conflict between you two here. I'm so sorry about this. You're gonna be arguing in the front there all night. No, but it's great. You guys have been a big staple of Kino and me films like almost every month. I appreciate that. Keep doing it. Absolutely. It was a series I was doing since COVID called Conversations with Myself, and it's just me going through shit. Anyways.
And the forest will echo with laughter.
I want to continue doing these things, but with tell other stories with people. So if you're interested in being super emo in slow motion.
How did you film the garage scene with where you're holding your own hand?
I realized that when I was leaning over from the top, I was using my right hand, and when I was holding from the bottom, I was using my right hand. So if you look at the video, it's just two right hands holding each other. It's that's why I didn't show it for very long. It's just like a fucking stick.
We didn't notice.
It's fine. It's good enough. Yeah, whatever.
By the brook, there's a songbird who sings.
Beautifully sad.
Oh, thank you. And that's the thing. That's the thing is I love about them. It's like it leaves you with like a bittersweet thing. It's like sometimes there's no closure in life, and there's a lot of pain and hurt. And it's true. It never goes away. You just think about it less. And that's very important to be realistic about it. But you do think about it less. And one day you'll wake up and say, I didn't think about it at all last night or the day before. And then that's how it works.
Your hurt is your happy place.
So the upside down parts, was that just to show the different worlds or different sides of yourself?
Absolutely, like different perspectives. Someone to blame, like I'm blaming this person for everything I've done, and in reality I've been cruel. You know, I didn't deal with the breakup very well, and you know, it's all about coming to terms with my faults and how I, you know, could have dealt with it a lot better and been kinder to people in my life.
Call the tune, then the piper will lead us to reason.
How did you get the shots from inside the typewriter?
Well, I have a wonderful little lens. It's a macro lens, but it's wide, which means it takes small objects and makes them look like dinosaurs. Its focus is so close to the lens that it actually focuses inside the lens. So I'm just grabbing it, putting all of this underneath this old Remington typewriter I have, and just go do 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 in slow motion.
It was so cool.
Yeah, and the keys, I had like a piece of glass over the keys, so the keys can come and hit the glass.
That's how you do it.
And as you're filming, I'm coming up with a million ideas, and I want to add so much more, but then I'm like, less is more, Vince. So I'm like, save it for other films, other stories you have to tell. But you get so motivated by all these shots.
Aren't you on my side? Let it go! I can't! Let it go. Can't.
Did you write it out first and just like shot list, or you sort of had an idea of where you were going before you started?
That's a good question. With a lot of these films, they're so abstract and fragmented that I have an emotional truth that I want to tell, and I film it first. And then it tells itself in the editing. Somehow, I let it go. It's gonna make sense somehow, because I know that I have a feeling that I want to convey. I always start with the end, and I know how it's gonna end, and now it's gonna impact, and it's gonna left you feeling. And then I work my way backwards, and I write the beginning at the very end of the process.
What was your reasoning in choosing Stairway to Heaven?
It's about a woman, and at the end I left the queen standing as I rolled away, as I distanced myself from her. I was listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin this month. I'm a little late to the party, I know, I'm sorry, but it just resonated with me. I played it on loop for like a whole day, and I just kept listening to it, and I'm like, wow, I get it now.
Did you smash it up ahead of time and then made it look like it broke when it dropped? Like, how did you film that? Yeah?
Yeah.
You smashed it up ahead of time.
Yeah, and then I
like,
dropped the piece, and then I grabbed the little pieces, and I dropped it and stitched it together.
So cool.
Oh, thank you.
To me, I took something that is probably completely different from the intention, but the end of not ending it in a way that we usually see with films, right?
Yeah.
Kind of just closing everything, which I thought was beautiful, and to me, really meaningful to me, trying to tell myself every day to let go about imperfection. But what about you? What was the original idea?
The abruptness. The music stopped, and I write them in such a way where they're vague, and I want you to get something from it. Your own interpretation. I love that. The music ends abruptly because the story ends too soon. Like, you know, a lot of things, we don't get to say goodbye.
So how does it end? It just ends without anyone noticing.
It's meant to make you feel sad. But the thing is that you embrace it, and it starts conversations, and it makes us feel less alone. It's okay to go through stuff, You know, when I was going through this breakup, everyone was telling me, get over it. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And I'm like, well, can we, you know, I guess I can't talk to you about it. I'm not okay. And there's no timeline on grief. There's no timeline on grief.
Never.
And stop telling me to let it go. Deal with your own inadequacies. Like, fuck off. Jesus.
Okay, you sing the song when you let it go.
He's venting now. He's venting.
What a wonderful turnout. Thank you so much for coming out to Kino. And I hope you get motivated and had such a great time. And I hope you make a film. Everyone has a story to tell. Please, get a camera. Get your phone. Make a story, reach out to me, submit it, we'll screen it, come on stage, talk about it. I'm Vincent Valentino on Facebook. Message me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for coming out, everyone. Have a good night.